Good morning, good afternoon to Boyce Academy. It is now Thursday. For real, I'm back. I'm really excited to be. Sorry I was gone for so long. Got hit pretty hard by some presumably cold, some kind of viral infection that was not COVID or the flu. So that happened. I was down for the count for 26 straight hours, just sleeping almost all of it. Didn't even know that could happen. So sometimes you just got to face your mortality for a bit. Glad to be back. Hope you guys were productive while I was away. It's very important that you got those ed puzzles done. They are mastery grades, and I'm hoping that because of that, most of you are going to be sitting tight with solid A's and B's. And after this semester, we should have a good start to the next one. I'm really excited about it. A lot of what I want to be doing moving forward, both in my 9th grade physics class as well as the 8th grade integrated science class, is to have you guys focus on having good notes and good conversations about the videos that we go through. So we'll interact as a class on videos, as well as having you interact with the material through ed puzzles and notes. I would still like that to be one of the main formats, with these introductions being the main way that we jump into everything. So with that said, let's go and look at some of these videos that you will respond to as bell ringer questions. Today we're going to have more than two, so this one's going to be significantly more than 10 points. And as a bonus, since it's our last 2 days to end the semester, each of these questions will be 10 points rather than 5. So 10 points per question. Shooting to have 5 to 10 questions here. We'll see how many it turns out to be. Let's get rolling.
I just learned why paragraphs are indented and got literal chills. It's a ghost story. First off, that empty space at the beginning of a paragraph is actually punctuation. In medieval writing, a mark evolved called the pilcrow. More commonly, the paragraph symbol. It was incredibly common because it was used to denote the beginning of a paragraph. This was before paragraphs came with line breaks, so pilcrows were especially important amid the huge blocks of unbroken text. As saving space on parchment became less important, people started putting paragraphs on new lines. But the pilcrow got to keep its place of honor at the beginning of each one. Now the fun part. In the creation of fancy documents like this, each scribe had a different role. The person who did the common writing wasn't the same person who went in and did the fancy pilcrows. So the amanuensis who did the main writing would leave space for a rubricator to come in later with their red ink. But they were working on a deadline apparently, and the rubricator didn't always have a chance to do their job. So then the document would just go out with blank space at the beginning of every paragraph. Paragraph after paragraph with prominent vacancies awaiting flourishes that would never come. Thus, to this very day, every paragraph you read is haunted by the ghost of a pilcrow. All right, I'm making my way.
Today is Thursday. It should be the 16th, so look up 1216 bell ringer, take out your iPads, go to Google Classroom, hit the classwork tab, and find the 1216 bell ringer. First question is, why do we have spaces at the beginning of paragraphs? When we write, why do we have spaces at the beginning of paragraphs? I'll give you some time to write that down, but again, bell ringer question number 1, I'm going to give you some time to take out your iPads and get writing this. Why do we have spaces at the beginning of paragraphs?
I just learned why paragraphs are indented and got literal chills. It's a ghost story. First off, that empty space at the beginning of a paragraph is actually punctuation. In medieval writing, a mark evolved called the pilcrow. More commonly, the paragraph symbol. It was incredibly common because it was used to denote the beginning of a paragraph. This was before paragraphs came with line breaks, so pilcrows were especially important amid the huge blocks of unbroken text. As saving space on parchment became less important, people started putting paragraphs on new lines. But the pilcrow got to keep its place of honor at the beginning of each one. Now the fun part. In the creation of fancy documents like this, each scribe had a different role. The person who did the common writing wasn't the same person who went in and did the fancy pilcrows. So the amanuensis who did the main writing would leave space for a rubricator to come in later with their red ink. But they were working on a deadline apparently, and the rubricator didn't always have a chance to do their job. So then the document would just go out with blank space at the beginning of every paragraph. Paragraph after paragraph with prominent vacancies awaiting flourishes that would never come. Thus, to this very day, every paragraph you read is haunted by the ghost of a pilcrow. All right, I'm making my...
Bell ringer question number 2. Douyin is the Chinese TikTok app, and they regulate TikTok in China in 4 ways that they don't in the US. What are the 4 ways that TikTok is different in China than it is in the United States? That's bell ringer question number 2. And as just an aside, recall that I did live in Taiwan for 5 years. One of the common trends you're going to have in a lot of these video intros is that I would like to sprinkle little tidbits about China that a lot of Americans generally don't know, that I think either for entertainment purposes or educational purposes would be good for you guys. So expect a little bit more of these. as a common theme and trend in these questions. But again, Bellringer question number 2, what are the 4 ways that TikTok is different in China than it is in the United States? And you also may recall that TikTok is originally a Chinese app. So TikTok is the English version or the American version of Douyin.
China recently put more digital restrictions on youth, and the US should do the same. For TikTok's Chinese twin Douyin, youth mode has been created to tackle these 4 things. 1, the youth are not allowed to access the app from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. This limits the anxiety around missed notifications, shared experiences with friends, whatever. 2, they cannot watch content for more than 40 minutes at a time. Straightforward, time is our most valuable asset, and it shouldn't all be given to a social media platform. 3, there's a 5-second pause between every couple videos. We know this, mindlessly scrolling can be compared to a slot machine. Every swipe of the finger on social media, your subconscious is yearning for a dopamine hit. 4, educational content is carefully curated and inserted into youth feeds. US TikTok's algorithm pushes a lot of junk food, but China is intentionally pushing edutainment STEM content onto youth feeds. Why is the Chinese government aimed at Douyin? Most addicting algorithm yet. The AI curation is insane.
Bellringer question number 3. We used to have differently colored signs. They had to be a more bright color in the past because it was the only way we could see them. We now put a certain structured coding on signs in order to see them, so we can have a less bright color. Red stop signs are that less bright color. What color did signs used to be?
Did you know that stop signs were not always red? In fact, they used to be yellow like these signs because yellow reflects more light, making it more visible at night compared to red, which is not a very good color for reflection. But that all changed in the 50s. So if I take this light and shine it at these signs, you'll realize they really reflect back to us really well. But if you go to another angle, you'll realize it's not quite the same. That light is actually bouncing back specifically to me at the source. And that's because in the 50s, 3M developed first glass bead technology at microscopic levels and then changed to diamond grade reflective sheeting, where basically the light can enter through this sheeting and then bounce 3 times and comes right back out to the source, to the direction that it actually came from. And as a result, microscopic versions of this can be placed over top of that stop sign, allowing the light to bounce back, making it safe at night, allowing them to use red, which means stop, ultimately showing that safety can be super scientific.
Mr. Storgerson, who's your favorite dancer? I was asked that last week during some Edpuzzle time, off topic, but here you go. I have 3 answers for you. The first answer is, based on freestyling, Sammy Steeds. Second answer is, as a couple, that would be Enola Bedard. As a group, Urban Theory. So your Bellringer question then is, which of these 3 is your favorite? Which of these next 3 dancers is your favorite? Many of you have surmised or learned by explicitly asking me whether I have ADHD. The answer is yes, I do have ADHD, and I did sort of totally rock school despite / because of that. One of the things I want to pass on to you guys for your experience in school and for your experience in life is how that works, how it can help you, what types of little superpowers come accoutered to your ADHD or your friends' ADHD so that you can understand them, and what kind of impediments are you going to experience, what things are going to set you back. So that way you can deal with the things that hold you back and really embrace the things that make you special as a person. But amusingly, some of the things I'll show you are just those areas that you don't even think. You don't even realize that this thing is more than, oh, I have a lot of energy and sometimes I can't focus because of that. ADHD affects so many little areas of your life that you can't even think, and if you're keeping your eyes open to it, if you're aware of it, you can really recognize that some people do certain things way more or less. And ADHD is one of those things that causes that. Today, one clip and many more to come of one thing that ADHD does. So your next bell ringer question, based on this next video, what is something that people with ADHD tend to do way more than most neurotypical folks? Next bell ringer question, compared to neurotypical folks, compared to normal people, what's something that people with ADHD tend to do more often? It's kind of embarrassing. All right, that's about it. Wrapping up here for our extended bell ringer intro time, I have one final question for you. And that final question is, what question do you have for me? Moving forward, I would like this time to be a period when I can collate all of the questions that other students have asked me in my 4 classes and respond to them for everybody. So now's your chance. It can be science related or otherwise something that you're curious about that is appropriate for me to cover in class. What is a question that you have for me? I will try to respond to many of these over the coming weeks. Until then, please take 100 seconds to write down your question as well as finishing up your bell ringer. Finish up your bell ringer, including this last one of what question do you have for me, and submit it on Google Classroom. You have 100 seconds. I need a volunteer to help me with counting to 100, and that would be this guy.
Yeah. Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 70, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, keep it 100, yeah.